So Jen is still asleep, but I am on a early schedule. So after last year, I brought some backup coffee because I remember it being just kind of so-so. So unlike last time, we actually got in a reasonable hour. We landed, I think, a little after 2 in the afternoon. Absolutely exhausted since we overnighted and didn't sleep well on the boat, but hey, it works. So we have everything set up. We have our food, we have our car. So today is all about diving. We have to do a checkout dive off of the docks, which we're going to do after breakfast, and then we're planning to head over to Salt Pier and see if we can dive there. You're dependent on whether they have a ship in the dock or not. We are just so happy to be out here again, though. We had such a nice time last year. So the way our relationship works, I'm constantly finding, one of the many ways, I'm constantly finding really cool things to buy, and she's going, don't spend money on that, unless it's cute, in which case then she's okay with spending money on that. See her hat, see her sweet new turtle shirt. Do I get new clothes?
It's a really nice shirt. Thank you, Matt.
Buddy Dive is a dive-centric resort, meaning you pay for your room and all your dive tanks and everything all together. And as part of that, they include this pretty damn impressive buffet breakfast each morning. We also really just love the seating area outside, since you get to look over at Bonaire and there's a greater than 50-50 chance of seeing a rainbow any given morning. Totally worth the occasional mosquito bite. Also, there are birds, which all the signs beg you not to feed, but people do anyway. I don't think he cares about you. I think he just cares about your food. No.
I will not give you food. You want pets?
Jen is just sad because he doesn't actually care about her. He just cares about her toast. But she's about to lose a finger here, which will be a really funny story. Tasty Taters the fingerless. He is really insistent, and unfortunately for Taters, she finds him really cute, so he keeps squeaking, and she's like, oh, but no, the rules. So this is a resort, so this is actually the lower class dining. This is where we ate tacos the first time we came, but they have in the breakfast area at night a upper class dining, which is how they describe it, and we haven't even been brave enough to look at the menu. So this is our room, but Jen is convinced that people are going to break in if we walk away for 2 minutes, so she always has to go unlock rather than just going in the convenient door. Many things do not bother Blondie, but actually bother me. Like, reef-proof sunscreen, reef-proof, reef-safe.
Reef-safe. Yeah. And also human-safe. Yeah. Better for people than avobenzone.
She doesn't know who the Ultimate Warrior is, though, so that bothers me. I can't even make the usual jokes. First dive is always the most chaotic. After today, we will be seasoned professionals. Oh God, the sun.
I'm so excited, though.
You're always excited, Bundy. I'm like, look, there's a bird, and you're like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, sadness. That surface interval is prime. Buddy Reef is a site right off the dock at the resort. It's not my favorite, but it is really convenient for checking equipment and also for a low-effort night dive. I missed the stairs at Catalina. I have that great video of you getting just completely tossed. Since this was a check dive intended to make sure all our equipment was working and that, we remembered how to do the whole diving thing, we didn't spend a ton of time filming, just basically enough to make sure the GoPro was working. This wreck is located a bit north of Buddy Dive and is one of the few interesting features of what we found to be the least interesting dive on the island. The most interesting thing going on there was the sergeant majors that were in full mating mode, fertilizing and guarding those purple patches of eggs. Interestingly enough, they did get aggressive a couple of times, but only ever at my fins. as usual, there were a good amount of other divers in the water all around us, which is actually unusual for Bonaire outside of those boat dives that we don't like to do. Overall, everything went well and it felt great to be back underwater again, but we were both shivering by the time we surfaced 70 minutes later. We were both just wearing swimsuits and a rash guard, which had worked fine last year. Per my shearwater, the water was 83 degrees versus 85 last year, and we both felt a bit wimpy considering how many dives we've done back in Southern California where it's 50s to low 60s. Still, we knew we were planning a lot of very long dives in the days ahead, and you tend to get colder the more you do, not warmer, so we decided to go looking for some shorty wetsuits. See, can't take her anywhere because people are like, oh my god, you're taters, you're from the internet. No, the funny thing is she gets recognized in Walmarts, things like that. She just got recognized by somebody for the diving content, which has never happened. Okay, and we are finally getting going here. We are wearing wetsuits because we are wimps. Well, anyway, we're gonna try them. It was a little chilly, even though it's only 83 degrees, but when you're diving for a couple hours a day, that kind of adds up. So we are going to head out to Salt Pier is the plan. The dive and drive package we bought included a rental vehicle and unlimited nitrox tank fills. Basically, you can pick up 2 tanks per person, and as soon as you return them, you can grab another pair. The slowest part is having to run the tanks through an analyzer to check the oxygen percentage, but I will just never get tired of having this easy an access to dive tanks. And so we are driving out through town, down to Salt Pier. Does seem like it is a little bit busier than it was when we were here last time, though the last day we were here last time it did get quite a bit busier. Donkey friends!
Oh wow! Aww.
No, we don't have any food for you. Just taters, love. Okay, and it looks like there is no boat at the Salt Pier. We were told that there is no schedule. It's just sometimes a boat shows up and then you can't dive there for 2 days. We did this at least 2 or 3 times last time and we have never seen a boat yet. Salt Pier is probably the most popular dive site on the island thanks to easy access, shallow water, and all the life that likes to hang around the pylons. Though it can be a little awkward getting into the water just because there's a bit of a step down once you're about like mid-calf deep. From there though, the white sand just makes the water so visually appealing to swim out and drop down in. The main attraction is of course the pylons with all the life that gets attracted to that sort of cover. There are 5 running along the deep end of the inner reef with 2 shallower ones that can be a little trickier to find if the visibility isn't great. We have had better dives overall elsewhere, but I will say Salt Pier has been the most reliable overall. Even when it isn't a top tier day there are still plenty of things to see between the pylons, the reef, and the shallows. This is called shadowing, and the trumpet fish is basically using a less threatening species of fish so it can sneak up on prey. And of course, at any Salt Pier dive, you are pretty much guaranteed to see at least 1 turtle. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen less than multiple turtles, which Jen, of course, is always very, very okay with. My favorite part of diving Salt Pier is actually finding these schools of grunts, usually at the shallow pylons. They don't really get spooked, and if you go slow, you can easily just kind of propel yourself right through and get really up close with them. This is that step down I mentioned in the shallows. It can be kind of tricky to get over. So we just did Salt Pier. We do not have a guidebook with us, So we just came a little bit down the shore. We're at the Invisibles, which we remember doing before, but don't remember anything about it. Blondie just wants to wing it and then hunt down all the people with motorcycles. Once again, while Bonaire has a large number of name sites, there isn't that much of a difference between them unless you're moving from the southern double reef to the deeper walls up north. Down here, there's a double reef with a band of sand in between. We like to cross the sand while staying relatively high, both to save air and to enjoy the feeling like we're flying. While there were still a depressing number of dead coral skeletons everywhere from that coral disease, both Jen and I commented after the dive that it looked like things were at least starting to improve. Granted, at least some of that probably has to do with the slightly colder water this year. And welcome to another one of Jen's favorite things about Bonaire. These jacks will sometimes use us as cover as we're cruising along the reef. They'll occasionally dart down and catch smaller fish and then swim right back up to us. We usually only notice them because they'll get a bit too close and then bump into our knees as we're kicking. We've had them stay with us for 15 plus minutes, and this is the only place we've ever experienced this behavior. Oh, now the worst part. And the least fun part of diving, cleaning up in the dark and the cold. Buddy Dive gives you a locker in one of two locations. This is the location for people that have a vehicle. If you're just doing the boat dives, there's one down by the dock. We would keep some of our stuff here, but since we had a patio, we took a lot of it back to the room. So fun day, relatively productive day. We got in 3 long dives. We decided we are not going to do a night dive tonight. Tomorrow we're going to do one, but we're going to plan to do one at Salt Pier instead of here at Buddy Dive. And dinner today is, Blondie is just drinking her dinner. No food, just drink all night. I mean, it's a grape, so it's technically a fruit. Blondie is actually putting in a ton of work and cutting veggies and everything like that, while I'm just dinking around trying to get all the electronics and everything sorted.
Thank you for doing all the video work.
Ooh, I've turned into a sophisticated surfer.
Nice new headband. We have nice new wetsuits. And we had an amazing first day diving. We had almost 4 hours underwater. Almost 4 very, very enjoyable hours underwater. From a really fun check dive when we were just so happy to be back underwater again. To action-packed Salt Pier, where there just kept being more cool new things to see.
We did a check dive. It was so cold, we then spent like 2 hours chasing down shorty wetsuits. Got those. Didn't get all the other cool things I found that I wanted. Found a really cool bag of things. But no. And then we go out diving, and we had the worst dive we've ever had at Salt Pier. Because the 2 last time were amazing.
I don't really remember the last 2, but I find it hard to believe that the one today was the worst. It was really cool. There was a snake eel, there were 3 turtles, there was a flounder fish, there was a spotted eagle ray.
If you're a parent and you can't remember the other sibling, that doesn't automatically make that kid better.
Where's the wisdom,
Just
Matthew?
Just say.
And then we had the most relaxing dive at Invisibles. Almost no one else there. It was just us the whole time. Until on the way back, we were joined by a fish friend, which seems to be a uniquely Bonaire type of experience. I mean, we've dove a good amount of places now, and we've never had this before where a fish comes up and uses our body to take shelter, and it's happened multiple times in our last week on Bonaire, and our first diving day on Bonaire, we had it happen again. He followed us all the way back. It was really fun. Most of the time he was taking shelter with Matt, but for a little bit of the time he was with me.
And I could hear her giggling into her regulator from 10 feet away. If a moray eel heads for my crotch, my first thought is not going to be, fish friend, I will embrace him.
Oh, that'd be so cool to have an eel friend.
Stories of how Matt was castrated, yeah.
Such a great first date. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Home sweet home for the night.